Hello, I'm Atcha,
And I'm Garrett.
and welcome to the Late Night Guild Wars 2.
Okay, it's time we talked about the Renegade. So, Acha, tell us what you thought about it.
Renegade was actually a pretty legit idea in the way of they said they didn't like how ranged people were actually staying melee to do their damage and all that. So they had they had to make the sword bow skills in a way of doing more damage while you're in range. And this is how they achieved that by, for example, I think it was the skill 2, it had like a volley, which it spread it while it was near the character, but it was going like in a cone shape, and it was just going like in a single spot. So you deal more damage by being as far as you can and having those projectiles. The more projectiles you hit, the more damage. And I have to say, it looked like a Condi spec. I'm not completely sure. I mean, the rest of the utilities that he had, the skills, had some Condis as well, the damage that they were putting. So probably it's going to be something like a Condi build. Now that we talk about the utilities skills, the idea behind them as well, it's pretty cool. Like you spawn like stars, which I guess it's like the warband of like the legend that you have, and like they do like the specific attack that they have. It's a pretty cool idea. So yeah, that's mostly it. I think it's probably gonna be Condi because like all the skills are have like bleeding and like torment and all that. So it's probably gonna be like somehow mixed with the already conditioned build. Probably it will be something for the PvP. I don't though find it fully like being a PvP thing because other classes do more damage with Condis. For Warwest World, it's a problem because mostly Warwest World is all about, well, being melee and in the face of your enemies. It's probably gonna be more like PvP and probably PvE. I hope it will replace the Condi build by the means of it will do more damage because already the Condi build that we have for the Revenant, it's not that powerful and it's really sad. So let's hope by making like this new Elite spec, hopefully, I hope so, a Condi spec, it will somehow spike the damage for like the rest of like the Condi power that Revenant has.
Yeah, what I'm concerned with the Renegade is that the weapon, because of the way that they're trying to sort of make the character stay away from the group, because we all have this currently in raids and even in fractals, we have this mentality of sticking together. It never really went away because we have very small ranges to applying, boons to each other. Like, for example, I know the Phalanx Warrior doesn't have that big of a range. I don't remember the exact range, but I know it's not that big. And the same thing, I feel, goes for the Mesmer, the Distortion, which a lot of people currently use on Veil Guardian. They distort the green instead of doing that. So don't you think that that's going to be harder for them to do if they're away?
I mean, it depends. As we saw, some classes are pretty good in some bosses, and some others are in other bosses. So we never know. Maybe the new wings will provide a way of that the range classes are something legit, and there will be like no melee. Because
Yeah,
like
that's
for
possible.
example, like some people do melee Damus, but Damus is more like for most like safe like runs is more about range. So Revenant probably it's gonna be kind of viable on Damus.
That's true. I didn't think about Tamus specifically. Now that you mention it, yeah, somebody staying away from him. That's true. That there's I was trying to get in close on Deimos. My only problem was that I never could, and I suppose that something like the Renegade could be interesting on Deimos, because the thing is, Deimos doesn't really do that much damage just by staying where he is. And the current abilities, the summons that you create as a Renegade, they can die. But if they're away from the boss, they can't die, because if they don't get hit, they don't take damage, and if they don't take damage, they don't die. So that means that they keep their bonuses up far longer, and that's they apply a lot of bleeding. Well,
Yeah.
one of them applies bleeding, and the other ones apply. There's one that applies life siphon. I know.
Yeah, right. I mean, the Elite is pretty powerful as well.
Yeah, I personally, what I like most about it is how reminiscent it sort of is of the Ritualist from Guild Wars 1. The whole having spirits around you, and that's pretty much what the Revenant, I think, is sort of meant to do for players like me that have played the first game, because a lot of the skills, they have stuff like conjure a portal through the mist and fire barbed arrows. So barbed arrows used to be this thing on the preparation skill on the ranger, and it's reminiscent of that idea, because I don't remember her name, the new legendary stance. What's her name? Kala Scorchrazor, I think, something like that. I might have butchered that. Anyway, Kala, she was a ranger, and this depicts very well not just the fact that she was a leader, because there's the spirits that you summon; those are her warband, like you said.
Yeah.
But it also depicts the weapon depicts her, basically her weapon. Also, you didn't talk about. I'm curious because you didn't talk about the the new profession mechanics that you get, the heroic commands, the citadel orders. Did you try those out?
I just saw them as F skills that most characters have. It was pretty strange, the things that they were doing. So I didn't completely understand them.
Yeah, they seem cool. They apply some alacrity and some burning, and one of them I know gives you that new passive that you get as a Renegade, which is Kala's Fervor, which can stack up, I don't remember, something like 5 times.
Yeah, it can stack about 5 times.
Yeah, and it gives you this. I gotta say, this is one thing I don't particularly like, because when you put something that gives you ferocity and extra condition damage per times that it stacks, and you tie it to an elite spec, it kind of makes all future elite specs, have to do something almost as good as that. And it often comes down to the question, can you get something that is half as good as this thing?
Well, the thing I think that they wanted to achieve with that, as you said about the stacks, it had some traits that provided some bonuses as long as you had some stacks or a lot of stacks. So compared to what stacks you have, it will give you a different a skill in the trait. I kind of see that as a good thing in making the build fully focused on trying to keep those stacks up and having those awesome effects from the trait. But yeah, it's still a bit confusing for me. I didn't thought what's I didn't understand completely what's the idea behind all that.
Yeah, the thing that I don't like about it is that every other elite spec has to, fight against this one buff that you get here from now on. And I agree with you. It's an interesting mechanic as far as the class goes, because you have to keep it up, and it's your own thing. It makes your own damage go up, which is very nice. Now, I haven't actually paid attention to the damage that the Renegade does. I don't know if it'll be enough to get the Revenant out of the pit hole that it has jumped in, or, well, the pit hole it was pushed in. But I do hope this makes it, see the light of day a bit more often.
Yeah.
Because right now, just being used as a hand kiter on Deimos isn't really a good spot for any class in terms of, well, raiding. And in terms of fractals, people still use a very tight setup because you just don't have space for things that don't do extremely well, especially if you want to, go through them as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So I like the Citadel orders, but like I said, I didn't really pay that much attention to what they do. And I like overall the skills on the weapon I don't particularly enjoy. But I do enjoy the other skills, the summons.
Yeah, but I think mostly the position probably will be for the Renegade will probably be PV mostly. So I think Warwick's role is better with a Herald than a Renegade. For PvP, it's exactly the same problem as we said. Like people are more about melee, so Renegade will have a lot of problem in a moving target that tries to get in your face. So yeah, I think
Yeah, especially that it doesn't have any mobility backwards, as in
yeah,
dodges backwards, other than its core dodges right now.
exactly. So I mean, you never know. Maybe they will find some like interesting build with like the rest of the skills, the utilities. But yeah, I highly doubt it will like find a like nice place in PvP and Warwick's World.
So that was a quick look at the Renegade, Revenant's new Elite spec. So what about the Citadel order, guys? Did you understand how they fit into it? Do you like the skills? I'm personally somewhere in, somewhere out. We didn't really get to play too much with them, unfortunately. Tell us in the comments below. And until later, see ya!
See ya!